Hello, my name is Minh Vien, and I am a scout of Troop 881 in Springfield, Virginia. This is the fourth episode of the Troop's History video series. Have you ever wondered whether there would be a United States if the United States Constitution was never ratified? Would you have the freedom and rights that are guaranteed to all Americans if the Constitution was not ratified? In this presentation, I will discuss why the Constitution was adopted, whose ideas influenced our Constitution, and who are responsible for the ratification of it. On November 15, 1777, during the Revolutionary War, the Continental Congress adopted the Articles of Confederation to establish the functions of the national government for the newly created United States of America. Ratified on March 1, 1781, this document was considered the first Constitution of the United States. In this document, the clearly stated relationship among the states was that of firm league of friendship to protect each other from all attacks made upon them or any of them. As such, each state retained its sovereignty, power, right, and independence, except for those expressly given to Congress. Therefore, the Articles of Confederation was a weak document and had many flaws. The state governments had more power than the national government. Each state issued its own currency. Regardless of the number of delegates to Congress, each state had one vote. Congress did not have the power to tax and regulate foreign and interstate trade. There was no executive branch or judicial branch, and any change to the Articles required a unanimous vote. On May 17, 1787, 55 delegates from the 13 colonies met at the Constitutional Convention to discuss the problems of the Articles of Confederation and to revise it. However, they ended up drafting an entirely new document, the United States Constitution. Many people believe that the Founding Fathers were the ones who thought of the concepts used in the Constitution. However, they discovered and adopted the ideas from two people, Baron de Montesquieu, a French philosopher, and John Locke, an English philosopher. Baron de Montesquieu introduced the ideas of separation of powers into three branches of the government: the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, as well as checks and balances among the three branches. Thus, we have three branches of the government that have equal powers. John Locke believed in limited government and that ordinary people are capable of giving consent to their ruler and introduced the ideas of natural law and religious toleration. Locke's concept of limited government and the consent of the governed are reflected in the Constitution. Following the adoption of the Constitution, Locke's concepts of natural law and religious toleration could also be found in the amendments to the Constitution called the Bill of Rights. Additionally, one of the delegates at the Constitutional Convention, James Madison from Virginia, greatly influenced the drafting of the Constitution by introducing the Virginia Plan. This plan outlines a strong central government which is divided into three branches: legislative, executive, and judicial. It further splits the legislative house into two houses, the Senate and the House of Representatives, with proportional representation. In 1787, after the final draft of the Constitution was adopted, many were afraid that the Constitution would give too much power to the federal government, which would infringe on individual rights. So, Alexander Hamilton, James Madison, and John Jay, under a pen name Plubius, wrote 85 essays called the Federalist Papers in order to convince the states to ratify the Constitution. They argued that a strong central government is good for the protection of the entire country and individual citizens' rights and freedoms. However, they assured that separating the central government into three branches, the legislative branch, the executive branch, and the judicial branch, would prevent any tyrannical behavior in the government. Each branch would be given a series of checks and balances that prevented the government from becoming too powerful. They were successful in their arguments. So on June 21, 1788, 9 states ratified the Constitution and put it into effect. It was not until May 29, 1790, when the last of the 13 states, Rhode Island, ratified the Constitution. In 2004, Congress designated September 17th as Constitution Day to commemorate the signing of the U.S. Constitution in Philadelphia on September 17, 1787, by the delegates. As Americans, we must celebrate this important day meaningfully and think about how our freedom and rights are protected by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and our duty to protect them and preserve them.